You know I'm not going anywhere. Where am I going? Where am I going?
It's more than you know.
My birthday was great, but it was also a reflection, and it made me realize that I am on so many different journeys, particularly my fitness journey. I haven't talked enough about it, so I'm gonna talk about it today while I do my hair, because it's not looking cute, but we're gonna make it look somewhat cute. I'm gonna use a comb, a curler, and some heat spray. This is not a sponsored video. Trenton, I'm recording.
Oh, sorry.
I just realized that I change up my fitness journey, I would say like every 2 months or so. And it's not because it's like, oh, I'm unmotivated and I'm not like taking my goals seriously. I take my goals seriously, it's just I get bored doing the same thing over and over again, and it's not just in fitness. It is in multiple areas of my life, and I'm trying to explore that. But I also have Venus in Sagittarius, so I feel like that plays a role in it. Not trying to blame astrology, I'm bringing astrology into it. I just noticed that my fitness journey this year alone has been calisthenics to these 5-minute fitness videos on YouTube. I really like them, they worked for me. And then I went to a park that was around the corner from my apartment, and then I went to do aerobics, and I did that for about a month or two, and now I wouldn't say I'm back to calisthenics, like it's calisthenics but with weight. So I wouldn't say weighted calisthenics, why not? I'm back to weighted calisthenics, and I'm noticing results because I've been doing this since about September. And this is the first time that I'm actually like seeing results, so it makes me question a lot. The realization to getting on that journey was when I switched from primarily using 10 weights to 30 weights. And that evolution kind of made me stop in my tracks and made me realize that I'm like, oh, I'm on a whole fitness journey and I haven't even given myself enough credit for being on that journey and never giving up on myself in that aspect. I did lazy fitness, and if you haven't looked at it, well, you can go look at it. It's on my channel under the featured channels. But I kind of made this exercise video with the intention of like what they used to do in the 80s, because around the time that I made it, Jane Fonda popped up on my YouTube timeline, and I noticed that she used to do like those fitness videos, and so I was just like, oh well, I can make my own. And so I did, and it was kind of like for, ish and giggles, but I kind of like how it came out. I kind of like how it came out. And so I was just like, you know what, why not upload it? And so I did. And so I just made different routines, because at that time, those were the routines that I was doing. And so I kind of just did what I needed to do in that aspect. I kind of like how this side's coming out, no lie. I struggled with gaining results because I am an ectomorph. And an ectomorph is somebody who struggles to keep muscle and fat on their body. Great when you're eating food that you're not supposed to be eating. Bad for when you're trying to build muscle and bulk up. And I'm not trying to like become one of those big bodybuilders. I'm just trying to, stay lean, cuisine, and all the other eens that rhyme. This time around, I'm noticing that I'm gaining more in my chest area specifically, which was kind of the goal all along. But cardio helped me to realize that I need to work here, because I don't know if it's with age, I don't know what it is, but like water retention, I am a water sign, so I feel like that has something to do with it. I personally feel as though with my body holds on to water a lot. And so water retention is one thing that I have a little bit of struggle with. Another thing I know I struggle with is my diet. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the healthiest person. I do eat a fruit and a vegetable every morning, Monday through Friday. Weekends, I go crazy. But yesterday, I am not going to act like I did not go to the diner with Trenton and Melissa, and we had a grand old time. I ordered an omelet, I ordered French toast, and that came with fries. Well, the omelet came with fries, the French toast didn't, but it came with syrup and butter, and I went in with that. I feel as though that my diet has a huge, like, I don't know what the word is at this current moment, but it has a huge effect on how my physical body will end up. I know this is the look. This is really a look. I'm really outside. I'm going to do the weather report. Live from outside, we are experiencing Hurricane Ian's after effects after the Mercury retrograde. More at 11. I feel as though that a huge part of the reason why I wasn't gaining, especially like over the summer And in the springtime was because my eating habits are not the greatest. But I feel as though in this new year of 25, that will all change. While I'm on the topic of being 25, I understand that there are some people that don't, count birthdays and things like that. There's just something different about my birthday each and every year, and I just feel in a different energy, and this year is no different. Like, I feel I turned 25 and my energy just shifted. I'm big on looking at my solar returns, and I looked at my solar return chart this year, both my precessed and my non-precessed. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I made a video on your solar return charts, and it's somewhere on my profile. But yeah, I made a video on that, and I looked at both my charts, and it's supposed to be a fun year, which is crazy because it makes me think back to when I was doing my subconscious journey. And one of the things that came through was a fun years ahead. This is also a look. I think this, I feel as though that these hairstyles are something that have not come out yet, very innovative. But I also noticed hairstyles that I used to do back in like 2015, 2016, if I find photos, I'm gonna put them here. People are doing them now, and everybody's just like, oh my God, I love your hair, I love your style. And I'm like, when I did them back then, I got called out for being weird, but I'm like, I have Aquarius placement, so I'm not mad about it. Anyway, I just noticed that I'm on a lot of journeys, and I need to start becoming more present. Because last year I realized like I was starting to get like a tad bit depressed because I wasn't going anywhere. I was building up my brand, or at least my business, and I was taking it so seriously to the point where I wasn't really having fun or wasn't really enjoying life. And I wanted to start enjoying life. I journaled it, I don't know how many times, that I wanted to have fun this year. Lo and behold, in my precessed solar return chart, it activates my 5th house for the year, and I have my sun there natally, also with Chiron and Mercury. But my sun is conjunct Chiron, which is something that I don't find enough, I can't find enough information online about. Sun being conjunct Chiron. I mean, I can find like Sun conjunct Chiron, but my Chiron is in a cazimi with the Sun. It's that close. So I'm like, does that have an effect? Is the Sun burning my Chiron? Does the Sun not even care about the wounds that I went through? Who knows? I can't find enough information on the Sun in the cazimi with Chiron, Sun conjunct Chiron, because I wouldn't say that not many people have it, because I'm like, I would assume that somebody in the year would have that. It's a huge possibility for somebody to have it versus somebody not to have it. But that's just me studying things. Speaking about studies, Trenton and I did a twin study the other day, and we found some really interesting information. Of course, people have patterns in their birth chart and things like that. Like, astrology is all about finding the patterns, but Trenton has been doing these studies lately. We did a study on twins, and I was so shocked because the patterns that come up in twins chart, and almost all of them, it's crazy. I was quick to point out that a lot of the twins that we studied, of course these were famous twins, people that have their birth charts already online. The interesting thing that I found is that most of these people have 12th house placements. Now, at the time, you couldn't ask me what that meant, but it took me going to the bathroom, sorry for the TMI, but it took me going to the bathroom to realize, I was like, the 12th house does have to do with childbirth experience and how the baby deals with the prenatal care. And so I'm like, it's interesting just to see the 12th house placements because it could talk a lot about what the mother had to go through. I don't know if it was a surprise or shock, because I don't know if people have Uranus in the 12th house. I don't even know if they were born during those years where people didn't have the technology to predict or determine if they were having twins or not. But I would assume that all the charts that we looked at, people were born well after that time. I'm starting to like it, but this side is a little out. It's very like different. Oh, wait, oh, okay. Yeah, we did a study, and a lot of twins have 12th house placements. Now, Trenton and I, we are very different. Like, we have different ascendants. It's like that. But none of us have 12th house placements. Trenton's ascendant does sit in my 12th house, but I don't know if that counts, because that doesn't have anything to do with me. I will say, though, I do not like 12th house transits. And I've had a lot of, like, 12th house themes pop up for the last couple of years, ever since the end of 2018. So the end of 2018, I was going to school in Las Vegas, and when I was there, I had a Gemini ascendant for my solar return, and Gemini falls in my 12th house. And that year was a year that a lot went down. Like, I remember when 2019 came in and everybody was like, oh, new year, same-ish. I was like, no, this year's gonna be different. And boy, was I mistaken, because I approached that very naive. And that year was definitely transformative. But when I moved back home, it did switch to a first house year, but it didn't feel like a first house year. It felt more like a 12th house year because it was very spiritual. I just started my healing journey. I started my business, but it wasn't like what it was now. It was very much like at the beginning stages. It's kind of like when the universe is preparing you for like that big thing. It was very much that, but at the time you couldn't tell me that like that was what it was. I was trying to not only convince others, but convince myself that this is what I was meant to do. I'm still doing it, so in a sense, I felt like I was doing the right thing. But at the time, it definitely conflicted with the things that I had going on in my life. And so now looking back, everything kind of makes sense. Ever since 2018, I've always had some type of Piscean or 12th house energy activated. I had the Gemini ascendant, my 12th house activated in 2018. 2019 through 2020, the North Node shifted in my 12th house, and it had been there for about, like a year and a half, because 18 months, that's usually the transit. In 2020, the North Node was still in my 12th house, but then COVID happened, so I was like, I don't know if that has anything to do with 12th house. But in 2021, I had 12th house placements, especially in my precessed chart. I don't know if I had any Pisces placements activated, but my South Node natal is in Pisces, but I had a lot of 12th house energy going through. It wasn't the North Node. I think the North Node was still in Gemini in 2021, because when I was on Clubhouse, it was still in the 12th house. So my North Node stayed there for quite some time. Oh, in 2020, I was going through a personal year 7, which links back to Neptune. And 2021, the North Node was still in Gemini, and then like Mars and all that started getting funky, and I just didn't want to be around people. 2022, at the end of 2021 to 2022, I had a Pisces ascendant for my solar return, and that I just don't want another last year. Like last year was just, that was more than enough for me. I think I'm good, you know. Now I have an MC in Pisces, and MC in Pisces is not that bad. The only thing is, it's like you have a vision of what you want to do, at least from my experience. You have a vision of what you want to do in life, but then actually doing it and going about it is so different. And I guess, well, I also have a North Node in Virgo, so it's like me learning the reality of these certain things. But like the reality is, some of these things really suck, and it doesn't kill the dream, but it wakes me up to like the actual reality of what it's going to take to make this dream come to life. And sometimes it's like a aha, and sometimes it's like a oh, you know. That's pretty much it. I don't know what this hairstyle is, but I wanted to present myself to make it look more better. But you know, the thumbnail is going to be something a whole lot different than this, because this right now is the art project. But I kind of like it from the side angle. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it's really giving like, you know, sex appeal. Give it to me. Jessica Rabbit. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna leave you there. No, well, okay. Bye.